This is your midweek Barbados Today Evening News Update for Wednesday, February 12. Classes at the Vauxhall Primary School will be suspended for the rest of the week as urgent repairs get underway. Word of this from Education Minister Santia Bradshaw as she toured the Christchurch School today with officials from the Education Technical Management Unit, Principal Patricia Springer, and President of the Parent Teachers Association, Adrian Husbands, to assess the problems at the school.
We are seeking to close school tomorrow and Friday, which would allow us at least 4 days in order to be able to go into the weekend with a view to being able to bring in all of the teams from tomorrow to start to address a number of the concerns.
Bradshaw said the ministry had already started to tackle some of the matters raised by staff and the PTA. She noted that the school will be included in this year's domestic summer program, but urgent matters will be handled now.
Today, the persons who are dealing with the garbage receptacle, which apparently has been a major source of contention for a lot of the persons in the school, because the area requires to be contained in terms of a covered area. There's some breaches in the fencing which have allowed some of the rodents and stuff to come onto the compound. So we are addressing the fencing area in terms of making some repairs to that area, as well as being able to cover the garbage receptacle as well. So those works will continue over the course of the next couple of days. We recognize from the hard court where we are here that there are some areas where, because of the use of the facility by the community and certainly by the students, you have some areas where the perspex, which would have been over some of the louver windows, in many cases those are broken from time to time. So what we are proposing to do is to replace those areas with wood to be able to still allow for ventilation, but for the most part to prevent a repeat of the perspex being broken or even the glass being broken.
PTA President Adrian Husbands told reporters that parents are satisfied with the ministry's handling of the situation.
I want to first thank the minister and her parties for coming out at our most critical and urgent time in need, because our children is very important for tomorrow, and with that I appreciate it, and we will work with the ministry and the parents to get Vauxhall School what Vauxhall School was before.
The jury is still out on if or how the Caribbean Development Bank will support the regional cannabis industry as Barbados and several other Caribbean states seek to get a piece of the pie. Responding to questions during the bank's annual news conference on Tuesday, President Dr. Warren Smith acknowledged that some states were legitimizing the marijuana industry and he expected that trend to continue.
I believe that it's a legitimate industry for our countries to pursue, as long as it remains within the law. And that is the position that I think that we would want to take at the Caribbean Development Bank. As to whether we finance the development of that industry or not, who knows? It could be that it could be through the small business sector, I don't know.
Smith warned that as Barbados and other countries develop the cannabis industry, authorities should ensure that locals and the country benefit first.
My concern is that the legitimization of this product should not put our countries in a situation where that new area of production becomes dominated by foreign interests, and our people, especially our small people, do not benefit from this new industry. That, I think, is something that we need to keep a very, very close eye on. We need to be real beneficiaries from this new industry.
People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Minister Cynthia Ford is challenging the nation's men to step up to the plate as she delivered the feature address at an HIV seminar for men 50 years and over and their sons at the Savannah Beach Hotel today. She lamented that too many men were abdicating their responsibilities and this was having a negative effect on boys.
Mentor the boys, join the Cub Scout movement, join the 4-H. They're saying women, women, women all the time in the classroom. Reverend Anderson, perhaps you could correct me, but I'm sure that there are more than 85% women in our primary schools. Who is going to mentor our boys when there's no father in the household? When sometimes the only male they see is one in the church and now the women taking over there too.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
To regional happenings, educational authorities in Trinidad and Tobago are concerned that school violence is on the increase again after a decline last year. And what's particularly troubling is that more girls are involved. Anselm Gibbs of TV6 News reports.
Education Minister Anthony Garcia says so far this year there have been approximately 6 serious incidents.
Yes, they have been suspended, and the principals have applied for an extension to the suspension, which I have approved.
That includes an incident at San Juan North Secondary.
That is a very serious case, and that student needs the type of intervention that we find to be very necessary. That is one of the serious cases that I'm referring to.
Officials say the majority of school troublemakers are in Forms 2 and 3, and now they're seeing more girls involved in violence outside of school.
And those fights have alarmed me because when I was growing up, that was a very long time ago, I never heard of girls fighting.
The Ministry of Education is now aiming to revamp its learning enhancement centers, so suspended students can go there and not just sit at home for rehabilitation.
Well, as soon as possible. We are hoping that that could be put in effect by at least after Carnival.
The ministry is also in talks with the National Energy Skills Center to have troubled students enrolled in a modified version of the My Part military and vocational program.
On the international scene, the IMF is gathering data to assess the full impact of the coronavirus outbreak in China. But the fund's managing director is hopeful the impact will be minimal.
Let me first say that before we think about the economic impact, we have to recognize that this is a tragedy for people that are affected, those who lose their lives and their families and communities, and therefore it is right to concentrate first and foremost on restricting the epidemics and then making sure that less people suffer. We are still at the point of quite a lot of uncertainty, so I would talk about scenarios rather than projections. In terms of scenarios, the most likely scenario in our view is a V-shaped impact. In other words, sharp decline in economic activities in China followed by rapid recovery and a total impact on China relatively contained, therefore impact on the world economy also contained. But we need to remember that there are uncertainties on the nature of these epidemics and on the way it is impacting sectors of the economies and value chains.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.